Alright everybody, welcome back to Everyday Whiskey, and as per usual, I'm Dan.
And I'm Mike, and tonight we're going to do a St. Patrick's Day special. So, in light of all that's going on in the world right now, we're gonna try and continue on with everything and make sure we can produce some videos and make them as fun and as lighthearted as possible.
Spread some positivity out in the world. There's not so much right now.
Gotta keep some positive vibes going through there, but obviously we all are concerned for everyone's well-being, so we are going to be practicing any safe measures that we have to. So we will announce on our social media if we are going to take a hiatus from videos. Right now we're kind of just playing it day by day. It seems we should be in the clear for the next two videos.
At least to do two more weeks of episodes, stuff like that. We'll keep posting on like our Instagram and our Facebook page. Bottles we're drinking, updates on the episodes. We might do a couple solo episodes where Mike, you'll do one at your house, I'll do one here in my house, and we'll kind of just like review some whiskeys. It might be a little more, tutorial stuff like that, a review like basically. But we're gonna try and keep getting content out there, trying to make you guys laugh, while keep bringing knowledge of like different whiskeys to you guys. But let's
Let's get started.
We'll get started with the episode tonight. So tonight we're gonna do two Jameson products. One you've definitely heard of, or maybe have had. Yeah, did you? I don't think you planned on wearing them, did you?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I think you thought about it this morning at some point,
did.
but I got my drink whiskey, pet dogs. That's my life goals at this point. Even though there's two cats in the house.
That's okay. Cats are pretty.
But yeah, two products we're gonna do. We're gonna do the. Sorry, they only have shooters of these right now. We're going to do the Jameson Cold Brew, which is basically Jameson Cold Brew coffee. I highly recommend you drink these cold. That's when they taste the best to me.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Everyone's a little different.
This is how we pre-gamed for Polar Bear Plunge,
yeah,
too.
So here's yours.
Perfect.
And then the other product we're going to do is something a little more high-end from Jameson. This is an actual older bottle. It's about 2-3 years old. Last time they made this. But this is the Jameson Cooper's Crows. So the thing that makes this so special is that it is it's their master cooper. He's basically the man who selects their barrels, hand selects the barrels that this whiskey goes into, and it's overseen directly by their master distiller, Jer Buckley. I might have butchered his name. It's G-E-R, Jer, however you want to say it. I'm sorry if that's incorrect.
Partially, because Jared Buckley's the head cooper, not master distiller.
Oh, that is a head cooper.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So Jared Buckley, he's the head cooper. He's the one who picks the barrel. Sorry, I'm just learning some of this stuff myself. So
yeah, we're both kind of inexperienced when it comes to the Irish whiskey end of it.
But we definitely want to feature Irish whiskeys for St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah, it's the only appropriate beverage to do tonight.
So if we botch anything tonight, apologize ahead of time.
Yeah, it's not that it's bad or anything. It's just neither of our fortes. I mean, the Irish whiskey, I feel, does not have as big a presence as bourbon does in the market right now. It's without a doubt.
It was the biggest whiskey. Like, okay, so basically, here's some like a brief, small history of Irish whiskey for you.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody wants to fall asleep during the episode, this is probably the time you're going to do it. So, in 1608, Bushmills became the first mass-distributed Irish whiskey. It's basically an old pastime by farmers. They would just do this to, they would take their barley crop, their grain crop, their malt crop, and they would turn it into whiskey, whatever they couldn't sell at market. So, but eventually, it grew in popularity in Ireland, and Bushmills was founded in 1608 and became the first distributed. When I say distributed, it was just, they were selling cask. They were literally selling barrels out to bars in Ireland. So, and that's the only way that, a lot of Irish whiskey up until the 1960s was sold, was by the cask to a bar or to a, to a home, essentially.
Yeah.
There are four major types of Irish whiskey you can buy pot stilled, just like Tullamore do, a redbreast 12-year, 15-year copper cask, whatever you want to call it. You can get blended, which basically blended is just like in Scotland where they get a bunch of different distilleries to get together and they make more product to be mass distributed. Everybody gets a little money. It's a lot easier on the individual distillery because they don't have to worry about supplying as much whiskey to one set area. And then there is the grain. And I think I already mentioned the malt, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
So I got all four. That's the four.
Yeah.
And literally, whiskey in Ireland is called life water. It is basically what brings life to the area, or brings life to the drunk at 2 a.m. in the bar. It's what helps them get home.
Down at the pub.
But yeah, so that's basically just like the little spiel I'm gonna do on Irish whiskey. I just wanted to give you guys some background information to know if anybody didn't know the basics of it. That's really it. I'm not gonna get into any technical notes in this episode because I am nowhere near versed enough in Irish whiskey to actually give you a technical.
Nor am I,
Yeah.
so don't. We're just not at that level yet with our Irish
Right.
whiskeys.
But it wouldn't be St. Patty's Day if somebody wasn't doing a shot of Jameson. So
Yes,
that's
we
what
need
we're
to
gonna do
keep
here.
the spirits happy.
So let's see. We'll do for promos. We'll do labels out.
The bars may be closed, but alas, we continue.
This has got a lot more than 50 a shot, but whatever.
Wow,
All right, Chan.
This is darker than I thought.
I know. I never actually poured it out.
Yeah, we kind of just ripped shooters.
It looks like, yeah. But all right, cheers.
Interesting.
Happy St. Patrick's Day,
Cheers.
buddy.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I really like that. So it literally
It
like you
tastes
get like
coffee.
you get instant coffee up front, and then on the back end, then you find out, oh wait, I am drinking Jameson. So
Yeah.
Jameson never leaves the whiskey; it's just helped out or kind of pushed along by this like cold brew note. The
I mean,
cold
it
brew is
tastes like
definitely there,
cold brew.
but there's definitely an Irish hug going on afterwards for sure.
If you were to take like an Irish roast coffee, you probably find them in the supermarkets. Some are just labeled Irish roast, whatever the hell Irish tastes like. That's what it tastes like. If you were to roast one of those coffees, cold brew it, that's what happens. That's what you get with this cold brew. So there's a strong coffee presence. It's wonderful.
But so one new thing we're starting to do with some of these episodes right now, I'm pouring out the Cooper's Crows. Have you ever had this?
Oh man, like you said, that bottle's what 2-3 years.
2-3 years ago, last
If
time
I
I did.
did, it was 2 or 3 years ago.
All right.
So
I personally love this bottle of whiskey.
it is very good. From what
It's
I
light.
remember.
It's refreshing. It has like basically Irish whiskey should either be super pale like this, or it should almost be like a dark amber color like that. This bottle's gonna be used in another episode.
Yeah.
You'll see that later.
That's a different story. Here's a good example.
Yeah.
One of the ones I'll bring out later.
Yeah, don't show the label though.
Yeah.
Because we want this to be a surprise for the end. Because these are really
This
cool.
color.
These are really cool Irish whiskeys. I'm like totally into.
Yeah.
If you're a Gangs of New York movie fan, you definitely might like this.
Oh yeah. I was very fortunate enough
so-
to get my hands on these. So.
But what we've been trying to do is do some more interactive stuff in our episodes. So today we're gonna do a little bit of Jameson trivia,
Hell yeah, that's the game for tonight.
and obviously, as in the last episode, the loser or losers or winners here, the loser gets a surprise at the end of the game. We're not gonna tell you what it is. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we both win, we're both gonna get the surprise.
Yep. Yeah,
But,
due to this current outbreak, we kind of had to improvise tonight's episode. We had a bunch of other things planned, but like
It didn't work
getting out was not even an option. I mean, I don't know where everyone's from, but right now, like, you can't even go to any stores. They're shutting down a lot of stores, so we had to kind of improvise tonight. So
Yeah,
it's not
you're
what we
gonna see
wanted
that.
to do, but it's still gonna be a fun episode.
But all right, so do you wanna? I think we should just alternate questions.
We could alternate.
All right, so basically what I did is I threw in one like gimme question that you should just know. It might not
I
be a gimme
should
question
just
to you
know.
guys, but to us it should just be a gimme question.
You should have known what Eagle Rare tasted like last week, and somehow you screwed that up. So I'm just putting that out there. Yeah, exactly. Sad.
One
squeak.
lonely tear rolling down my cheek. That was like super disappointing.
That
to
was
me.
disappointing.
I was,
I
like-
was disappointed.
I was realistically very upset with myself.
I was disappointed.
All right, but at this rate, let's keep this episode under 20 minutes, so we're going to
Yeah.
try to do that. All right, so I'm going to start it off with something very easy, I think.
Might as well get my question. They are upside down. Here we go.
No, you should read them like that. It's written in Gaelic that way.
Gaelic. All right. That's too hard. Let's
All
go.
right, you ready?
Yes.
All right, when was Jameson whiskey introduced? Not when it was created. When was it introduced to market? When did they first start selling it?
Jameson whiskey. Here, just so you guys see, like, I don't have the answer. Oh, you can't even see.
No,
it
the
anyway.
light's going to
That's-
definitely, you're not
it's
going to see it. You
whitewashed.
literally
My
have to,
bad.
like, you'd have to put it, like, right in my face.
It was introduced in 1780.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you got it right. Yeah, it was one of the first main 6 distilleries ever created in Ireland. It was one of the first 6. So, like I said, Bushmills being the first, this was one of the first 6. All right.
All right. True or false? Jameson is the world's #1 Irish whiskey.
True.
Correct. It is ranked 41st among all liquors overall. So that's pretty good.
I honestly
There's a lot
really
of
thought
liquor out there.
Tullamore Dew would be like That's got to be number 2, right? I didn't do any research, so I don't know if Tullamore Dew is number 2, but I feel like that's got to be number 2.
It's got to be
The
up
amount
there.
of SKUs they have is insane.
It's got to be up
They have
there.
like 15 SKUs.
Especially like the crock pot still, or whatever the hell, the crock still that they call that bottle.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
little crock bottle.
Yeah, the little
like,
yeah, the
you
little
see that
crock
everywhere.
bottle. I love that bottle.
Everywhere. It's like
I think that's just cool. Imagine getting nailed in the head with that at a bar though at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
That would be a good weapon of choice.
It's like a little like you just take one finger to.
Yeah.
All right. All right. This one was really funny. I actually really like this question. What was John Jameson's nationality?
So the only reason I know the answer to this is because it's completely contradictory to what Irish whiskey is. John Jameson's nationality, he was Scottish.
And he spells his whiskey with an E. With
Yeah.
an E. His forefathers would be very upset. But here's the thing. So John Jameson was a lawyer, and basically, his wife Margaret, her brothers owned the Bow Street Distillery in Dublin, Ireland. And he basically took over for her brothers and took over the distillery. They used his name on the distillery, but he inherited his distillery from his in-laws. He actually had no interest in whiskey. He created the interest in whiskey through his, his married family.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a cool thing. He never married her. We
cool.
might not have Jameson at all. We might not have those cool commercials with the eagle picking up the barrel and flying away.
Another fun fact, he was born in, correct me if I'm wrong, 1740.
Well, you read my notes. Yep, you read my notes. I missed that part, my own notes.
That's funny.
That's the Jameson.
That just goes to show you, like, I honestly had no idea prior to researching these questions, like,
No,
that Jameson was this old.
Yeah, no, I didn't know
mean,
either. I didn't know Bushmills was from 1608.
Well, yeah, I didn't know they were the first one.
Bushmills was created the same year that the Jamestown settlement was created on
that's pretty crazy,
Virginia.
man, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right, what do you got for me, buddy?
Question number 2. What year did Jameson start selling whiskey by the bottle?
See, this goes back to that whole cask thing. Most Irish whiskey was sold by the cask up until 1968.
Yep. You are correct. Damn, that was slick. That was right. I didn't think you were gonna.
I segued that right in.
It
That was
took me
good,
a
right?
second to process that one. I was like, wait a second, he just answered the question.
All right, Chan, your last question. This one is actually kind of upsetting. Maybe there's some like through and through Irish folk. When was the last time Jameson was made in Dublin?
Oh man. And I know it was in the 1900s, and it was close to the other date, just 200 years later, basically. 1970 or 80?
You gotta pick one. I'm not gonna
70.
I'm not gonna give you the
I'm gonna
answer.
go with 70.
All right. Yeah, you were right. So it was basically right now it's being distilled in Cork, which is it's basically where a lot of like West Cork is distilled there. You got a lot of big distilleries that are distilled there. But yeah, so you got all 3 correct. So I gotta get this last one right, or else I'm gonna get the surprise, which I really don't want to tell you what it is because it's kind of ridiculous.
Again, we had to improvise.
And improvise this is.
Here we go. The question. I was reading the wrong.
You guys
thing
remember
for a
Foley?
second.
Drinking the beer and eating the hot pocket in the background. He just walked in.
He's back.
Foley, you want to say hi to everybody?
I got some sticky stuff on my hand.
He's got sticky stuff on his hand. He will not be making.
He was not be making an appearance today. All right, what's the last
It's
question?
COVID-19. That's not good. All right. How much of Jameson's production is exported?
I know this one, so we're both gonna get nailed with the surprise.
Yeah.
It's 90%.
Yes. So Pernod Ricard purchased Jameson, and at that point, only 50% of its whiskey was
So
exported.
the business
Right.
grew. They did good by
which
it.
is good.
It may stink for
They're growing.
the domestic clientele, but for us, that's the reason that Jameson is what it is for us.
Yeah. That's the reason
If
we
you're
can-
on our
we
side of
can
the
drink it.
industry, Renard Picot or Renard?
Bernard Ricard.
Yeah.
Bernard Ricard.
I can never say this. I've been
I
dealing
can't
with these
either.
guys for 7 years. I can never say their name
Yeah,
correctly.
sorry, whoever from Bernard Ricard Ricardo is watching this,
It's
but
my boy Will.
yeah, sorry, Will, if you're out there.
But yeah, Jameson has definitely become a forefront in the industry and is a name. When you say Jameson, you automatically think Irish whiskey. You think nothing less than that. That's why we had to feature this today.
Yeah.
But Steve,
As the package said,
do you want to unleash a surprise on both of us?
surely.
Oh God.
Here it comes. Let me just move all the breakables out of the way.
That's a good idea. I don't want anything
Don't hit the light either.
in
Just
my whiskey. I'm moving yours over here.
just brace. Just really go for it. Just do it. Ow! Damn it!
Wow, that hurt. You should have told me to
Did you airmail me?
It's in my shirt.
So that was a bowl of sea creatures getting launched at us. When I said improvise, we improvise.
It's sea monkeys. It's a sea monkey.
you
It
get
went
any
down
over
my
here?
shirt. Yeah, man. I got all kinds
Look,
of
we got a
sea
squid.
creatures. It's a
You got a squid, and then you got like a little this little guy. I don't know.
Let's
All right.
crab it. Oh,
Let's
man.
all right here. Let's perch them all.
Yeah, they're just gonna
on
hang
the-
out with us.
They're gonna
now.
hang out the rest of the episode.
Stingray.
All right.
Steve Irvin.
So-
Irvin, whatever that one is.
That being said, that was Jameson trivia. Hopefully you learned something from Jameson trivia. Chan, let's bring out the fun stuff.
All right, let's bring out this fun
Where'd my whiskey
stuff.
go? Did you move my whiskey?
Oh yeah, it's over here.
Okay.
I didn't want sea creatures getting in your whiskey.
What?
Fresh glasses.
I know you airmailed me completely. So Chan lost.
Yeah, I lost.
Apparently Chan's a loser.
I got hit by it. All right, so I got 2 bottles, so I'll show them one at a time. The first one I'm gonna do.
And you need to like do a lot of talking here because I've actually never had either whiskey, and this is his deal.
Yeah, this is my deal.
Floor's yours, buddy.
So, the first one I have here is the Dubliner Irish Whiskey. I'm going to try and get it so you can read the label. Kinda, yes, maybe.
I think you gotta like go.
There we go.
There we go.
You're not missing much on the label.
All right,
There's nothing
so it's basic Irish label,
basic Irish.
but not basic, not basic Irish whiskey though. I will
No.
say. I mean,
It's very good. So,
I'm so glad we started using the front-facing camera on this thing so I can frame stuff in.
right? So the Dubliner, it's a single malt whiskey, and it's actually a bit grainy. So
So it's a grain.
yeah, it's a
Grain
single
Irish
malt,
whiskey.
single malt and grain whiskey. So that's what I'll say. It's a single malt and grain whiskey. I'm gonna try and do a lot of this just naturally off my senses.
Yeah, that's pretty much the review we're gonna do. We're basically gonna use like our taste buds to
Yeah.
kind of do the review because I'm not gonna get anything technical here.
So the smell,
The smell smells like
nose.
grain. You get a little bit of grain, you get a little bit of caramel.
sweet, very sweet,
Um,
and
Just
oh God,
do it.
and he's back.
he's back.
It's pretty.
You should have shotgun that.
It's pretty much a honey color.
Probably could have.
Yeah, it's definitely like
Very-
okay, so it's definitely that
very
light
much
that
honey
it's
in
that
color.
it's that pale color, right?
Yeah, it's more on the pale
Alright,
side,
let's
like
start-
the Cooper's Crows.
Start talking about dink it. Or shrink it.
Sorry we went out to Florida. That's okay. I was expecting you to walk actually.
See, the whole thing for me is like that's the worst part about like me not having like a distinct palate for Irish whiskey. I actually like this better than the Jameson Cooper's Crows. It's hard to say.
Sorry, Jameson, we
sorry,
just stole your
Jameson.
thunder.
It just has more flavor to it. It's a little easier to drink. This really is not that it doesn't have flavor. It just doesn't have a lot there. It's a solid whiskey, and if you're just drinking it, it's gonna taste good. But this just has more of a complex flavor to it, and
Yes.
it's more well-rounded.
And it's a very light body. It's an easy drinking whiskey. Fun fact: my cousin, who actually does not drink whiskey at all, he was sipping on it this weekend, and he texted me actually yesterday morning, I think.
Yep.
And he's like, "Man, I could drink that all the time." So like that just goes to show you, like Irish whiskey is very unique. It's definitely a good starting whiskey to get into because none of it's overly complex, none of it's too strong, too heavy. It doesn't punch you in your face like some
Yeah.
Scotch does. So if you really want to start drinking whiskey, we should credit Irish whiskey a little bit more.
I think
It's
so too,
definitely
just
good to
because
get
it's a
into.
super good like introduction whiskey where there's really not going to be that many potent or volatile flavors. It's going to be
No.
very light on the palate. You're going to get it's almost refreshing to some
It
point,
is.
and you should definitely get like some citrus, some lemongrass, stuff like that.
It's very good. So
alright.
the next whiskey I have is a lot better. And this one is the Dead Rabbit. So this has a much more interesting background to
If
it.
you're a Gangs of New York
And,
fan.
yeah, like Gangs of New York.
Dead rabbits.
And it's just a lot more complex of a whiskey. It's gonna drink actually more like a bourbon, as it should, because it actually is aged in bourbon barrels for 5 years, and then it's finished in virgin oak barrels. What are you doing to the camera?
Just
Blessing them.
blessing
The Irish
them with
blessing.
Irish whiskey.
The Irish blessing.
Yeah, blessing them with Irish whiskey.
So one fun fact about the Dead Rabbit, and probably one of the most interesting facts, is there's about 40, I think, distilleries in Ireland.
Yep.
And they are one of, they're not one of three. They utilize one of three master distillers. So what that means is that they actually have a master Irish whiskey distiller at their distillery creating this product in a midst of over 40 some odd distilleries that are in Ireland. So that's a big deal. I mean,
It's kind of crazy though with the amount of distilleries. Like, there's only 3 though. Like, it's
Yeah.
like every
there's only 3 master distillers.
and this could be kind of wrong, but I feel like every distillery in Kentucky or in the U.S. has a master distiller. Like, you have a master distiller making your
Yeah.
whiskey. But yeah, I think it's a cool little
It is
note
really
on it,
cool.
and it shows you the craftsmanship that goes into this.
Yeah. So now let's get into the name a little bit. So the name it comes from a notorious Irish street gang from way back. I actually forgot to take note of the date.
It's gotta be that's gotta be 1800s.
Yeah, it was in that time when gangs in New
Right
York.
around the movie, the 5 points in New
Yeah.
York.
It was basically named in tribute to that gang, and it's also named after a bar, the Dead Rabbit Bar, which is a world-renowned bar in New York City. And a cool thing about that is, so some people think that this product was made for the bar. It actually was not made for the bar. It has no correlation to the bar whatsoever.
He just pulls these
However,
on screen, and they've all seen them.
one of the cool things is for every drink that is made or poured with the Dead Rabbit Irish whiskey, 100% of those proceeds actually go to charities. So they don't even profit off selling this
So
whiskey.
this is that. Like I said, like that's the sole reason to buy this whiskey alone.
Yeah.
We
Now-
kind of get into price points. Like, what are we looking price wise here?
So price-wise, you're looking again in that $35-$40 range for
Okay.
both of them. They're not astronomical. I actually was able to receive these through work because it's one of my products, which is really cool. But you could go out and buy them anywhere between, I've seen them as low as about 35 and
Okay.
as high as about 42, let's
And then
just say.
we'll go back to the Jameson Cold Brew. That one should be retailing between $37 and $42 on your shelf. And then the Cooper's Crows, that's kind of hard to distinguish because each blender, it's called their blenders batch. So each blender select varies in price depending on what went into the product, how much they had of it, how much came to the U.S. But that Jameson Cooper's Crows, if you were still to find it, which I don't know if you can still, that was going between 70 and 80 a bottle.
You can find it.
I think 70 and 80
I've
a bottle is
seen it.
pretty on point with that.
Yeah, I've seen it around still in
All
my
right.
travels.
And as with the new tradition on Everyday Whiskey, a little bit of everything
Yes.
goes into the barrel.
And I don't know if you saved any, but I did save a little bit of the coffee
All right,
too.
good.
So
Good.
you know what?
That's gone.
We're putting it in there.
Fire it in. Fire it in. Hey, don't spill it in the barrel.
Why not?
This just takes like a really steady hand. This is not.
I know, this is like some skill right here.
This is gonna be disgusting when we actually try this.
Yeah, this is gonna taste really bad. Or it's gonna taste really good. I don't know.
It could taste really good.
We actually don't know. Now, do you know if the inside of that barrel is charred at all?
Oh, yes.
Like is it?
It's charred.
Oh boy.
So this barrel is completely custom made for us. Like,
Yeah.
So it's basically like any barrel you would get at like a cooperage. It's kind of the same thing, except it's only 1 liter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not as much fun. And the prep to actually get this thing to seal correctly was a mother. Yeah, it wasn't fun for me. But yeah, it's gonna be a cool little thing when we finally get to open this up. When we finally see our faces, whether they look like me in the last episode at the end when I almost threw up on screen, or they look like a Chan where he was kind of oddly surprised and happy about his.
Yeah. That was a good punishment.
Let's go over here.
I like it.
But as the Irish say, I'm probably gonna say this very wrong. It's spelled. Here's how it's spelled. It's spelled Slainte with a little beh at the end on the e. So slante, aka cheers,
Cheers.
from Everyday Whiskey. Thank you for watching another episode.
And happy St. Patrick's Day.